Hello friends, and welcome back to Healing with Grace. So today's video, I want to dive in to what it looks like when God is changing your surroundings. And when you kind of have this pull that He's wanting to do something new in your life. Maybe the thing that you've been struggling with for a really long time, He's bringing to the surface. It's something you can't let go of. And He wants to take you on this healing journey. He wants to show you how to surrender it. And you feel like you should already be somewhere different, or you feel like, man, this is a really long journey, God. Like, I just want to move through this. I want to help give you some encouragement in how to release your timeline when it comes to a healing journey. And I want to give some insight of like what I learned in my personal journey of how now I understand what He was doing in those really hard seasons. So let's first talk about what it looks like and feels like to release your timeline to God and to release your plans to God. Because I know when I watch people talk about this, it seems so easy. It seems so seamless. It's like you just make that decision and then everything just falls into place. And I want to say, yes, that is true, but there's also a season of mourning. There's a season of grief, and there's also a season of heartbreak when you're releasing and surrendering. And when you have years and years and years of things that you have kept secret, the things that have hurt you, but you haven't told anybody, the ways in which you have kept yourself small or not allowed your full true self to be present, how that is impacting you and how it has changed kind of your trajectory of your past and where you're going. And when you go on this healing journey, God is bringing up everything that you didn't want to think about. All of the thoughts that you had, the situations you went through, the ways in which people did you wrong, all of them are going to be brought up when you decide, like, I want to be a better person and I want to be a person that is closer to God and following His will. And in this season of, Him just bringing up all these things, we never know when He's truly going to heal you and take it away. And I know for me, I lived with this like heaviness in my heart for so many years. And I didn't know what life was like without that. It was always in the back of my heart, always in the back of my mind. And it was like this like weight of this chain of just not being able to fully let go of something that happened that I was so angry about. The double life that I felt like I had to live. I was so mad and frustrated. And I didn't understand that that weight was actually keeping me in a life that I didn't want. And the only way that I was going to get to the life that I wanted was to go back to that place and work through that with God. And if you're in a similar season right now where you were like, okay, I want to change. I want to, change the way I view myself. I want to change my career. I want to truly find peace and fulfillment. I promise you the only way you're going to feel that is if you go through this really uncomfortable, awkward phase with God where He's bringing up things that you don't want to face, but He's making you face them. And what got me through this really hard season was releasing when it was going to happen, how it was going to happen. And it's kind of crazy when you start opening up those things, you really can't go back. Because you have, like, God takes you to, at least this is my journey, He takes you to such a low place that you cry out to Him in desperation. And then He gives you a little bit of peace. He gives you one answer. And you're almost like, that felt amazing. Like, it felt amazing to hear from Him or to feel His presence or to feel His peace. And you can't go back to just ignoring Him because you're like, I felt you, I heard you, I saw you. And when you're going through this season, If you're only looking for him to heal you, you're not going to gain everything that he wants you to gain. But if you look at this as a season of being reborn, of scraping away the old and building onto something new. And if you can just let go of that date of in a year from now, God, you're going to give me the job that I want. Next week, God, you're going to open an opportunity for me. You are going to find so much more joy on your journey because you're going to be looking for his daily blessings. You're going to be looking for his little winks of like, I'm listening to you. The prayer that you said, I'm going to send you somebody. The thought you had on, I want to change my life or I want to be someone different, I'm going to send you a video or a scripture or a song that gives you the stepping stool to do that. And I found so much more peace in that because similar to like a weight loss journey, when we have this goal of like, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in a month, which is for the most part unrealistic for most people. When you put that goal in place, you're not acting out of a place of rest and peace and excitement and just like surrender. You're working out at a place of fear. You're working from a place of frustration. You're working from a place of anxiety to get to that end goal. But the joy is in the season and in the journey to get to that goal. It's learning along the way. And so when you're in this part of your healing journey, just know that there is an order to it. There is an order of bringing the awareness to the problem. Then he is going to bring you the how-to with that problem. He's going to give you a verse. He's going to show you exactly how to do it. He's going to give you a person in your life that is already walking along that path to follow. But then there's also a season where you have to do the work. You have to be the one to putting the effort into once God sends you a revelation or convicts you of something, you have to be the one to make that change. And when you make those changes over time, then that's when you look back and say, wow, look how far I've come. But in the moment, it's not going to feel like you're making any progress. In the moment, it's going to feel like your efforts aren't leading to anything because you take one step forward and then it feels like you take 3 steps back. And it's this constant learning journey with God of like, okay, Lord, I don't know why I'm really struggling with this right now, but I'm trusting your word and that you are good. I'm trusting that you have a plan in place for me. I'm trusting that I do not have a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-control. And so I'm going to walk in that. It doesn't feel comfortable yet, but I'm going to walk in that. And so that's what it feels like to be in this season of, walking with God is you don't ever actually arise to something. You don't just wake up one day and have that huge moment. It's these small steps day by day that when you look back, you're like, wow, I don't have the same thoughts anymore. Wow, I'm able to make new decisions now because I have this new confidence in my spirit. And it's because you've been putting in the daily work of changing your thoughts, reading your word, being around positive people, moving your body, all the positive things that you're working on. And that was mind-blowing to me because at the start of my journey, I was like, there's just going to be this one moment that God takes it away. But it was the small lessons that I learned that brought me the most fulfillment and joy. And as I was walking and hearing God's voice and feeling his spirit, that's when I finally felt like I was on the right path. And the path that I was on prior to him never felt right because it wasn't his true path. It was me making decisions and not inviting God in those decisions at first. So that's what it looks and feels like to release your timeline. And then the second thing that I want to talk about in this video is how it truly is a journey and it's a season. And when we can look at our lives as we are going through seasons, it makes it so much easier because I always felt like I had to be on 24/7. I always felt this anxiety and this pressure to be striving and pushing and working really hard. And while all those things are great traits to have of hardworking, but there also has to be seasons where you take a step back and you are looking at your situation, you're looking at the things you're doing, your habits, and you're asking yourself, is this really the best for me? Am I doing everything that I want to be doing? Are there areas that I'm not pushing in? And inviting God in those seasons to know that if you need rest, if your spirit feels heavy, then that's God calling you to say, hey, I need to spend more time with you. And so in order to spend more time with you, I'm going to make kind of your outside life feel chaotic because I need you to focus on me. And the Bible verse that I love for this, and to kind of understand like what season you're in, and I think this is how you say it, Asclepius. I'll put it on the screen, but it is Asclepius 3 verse 1 through 11. I'm only going to read a little bit, but you can like continue to read. I'll put it on the screen. But it said, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build. So if we are just constantly in a season of building, where we feel like we have to be going on our own strength, where we are exhausted and we don't know why, or we feel like we have this constant pressure to be something, or this constant pressure to figure everything out, you might be in a season where God wants you to rest. He actually wants to tear down certain things that aren't right for you, so that way he can set you up for something new. But in order to learn the lessons from the teardown season, you have to be in that teardown season. You have to say like, okay, Lord, I want to learn what you're trying to do in my life right now. I'm not trying to rush through this. I'm not trying to get to the end of this. Like, this is a pivotal moment in my journey. And the easiest way that I was able to do this is kind of having your own heroic story. So have all the things that you are struggling with, like have a list of literally all of them and say, okay, these are all the things that I am struggling with, but God's going to take me on a journey, and piece by piece, he's going to work through these with me. And then you can start to see in your journey of how God is building you up, how he is opening doors for you, how he is giving you bits of wisdom that you didn't have prior to surrendering them to him. So let me ask you one final question to close out this video. If God were to open a door tomorrow, what would you want him to heal you on? What is it that you are holding on to that you're having a hard time surrendering to him? And that if he could take that away, then you could feel lighter and free. And so whatever you answer to that question, that is what I want to encourage you to write down, how it is impacting you, how it is hurting you, and ask him to start working with you to heal that. Asking him what your journey is, what season you are in, and then surrendering to that. And if you're in a building season, build. But if you're in a tear down season, allow things to be torn down. Allow things, people, places, jobs, ideas, allow them to fall. Because I promise you, he is going to answer you. He is going to give you something new. It's just going to take time. And it's going to take us trusting that our plan is not the best plan. He has a better one, and he knows what he's doing. So that's everything for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm sending all of my love and encouragement, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.